And we're on. It is good to be back with you guys. I cannot keep up with all the awesome Braunstein stuff that's been going on lately. I have with me not Janeway, which I think I first got in on your Cthulhu-stein.
Yeah.
And then it pretty much got taken over by StarStein, and I didn't get in on that one, and I'm really kicking myself now because it seems like this has been like a mega event. So if you wouldn't mind, introduce yourself, Mr. Nod Janeway. Explain a little bit about how did this StarStein thing even happen in the first place.
Okay, so previously sort of, I guess, my introduction to, I guess, the Pro-SR School of Orthodoxy, or whatever you want to call it,
started into the cult.
It started with when I went on Twitter and I saw what Jeff was saying and what you were saying and what all the other guys are saying, and I was just like, well, wow, that sounds interesting. That sounds cool. And I'm a very maniacal person, so I respected someone going, that I'm objectively right and you're wrong, because I want to be that person. So basically, what ended up happening for me was I started off doing the Traveler Stein. That was just, it was a little bit for Jeff Rose, Traveler Stein, but it was something I just did with some friends of mine that I knew in real life. Well, as real life as you can get when you talk about internet stuff, just people I knew, basically. And so that was, but my first Stein was the Traveler Stein, and that went crazy. That only had, I want to say, 8 people. By the end of it, it was 8 people. It was mostly people I knew from real life, or people you meet people, that kind of thing. And that was my introduction, and it went horribly well, and it was so fun. And I really loved it, and I wanted more. And I left Traveler, but the Classic Traveler is such a good room set.
Yeah.
It spoiled me. And so I got them to dig 30 Stein, and I'm, in some ways, I'm very arrogant about it. I did well in Traveler Stein. I did so well. I can just piss everything off and just, I don't need to do anything special for this. I'll just do what I did for Traveler Stein. And then on Thursday, I think 30 Stein for me personally, but through this, I don't know if I use the strangest of language here, but I think it's one of the worst, not worst, but it's one of the least usable for a Braunstein sort of setting and Braunstein game. I really wanted to do it well, because I just a great idea for it, and I still think it could be a good idea. And if I were better, I could do it properly, and I will do it. I'm not trying to be the fake style. We'll go back to it and do it properly and give it the justice. That was my second one. That was when I started inviting some of the bros.
So did you? I feel like you might have started your Traveler Stein before Jeff Rose even started. Is that accurate?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did a little bit before his, probably like a couple of weeks. And then see how fruition, because I'm really shit at writing things. I just, and like that bit. The only thing about Traveler Stein was it happened when my daughter is still fairly sedate, and then when I went, so I had more time basically, so I could do things like sessions and things like that, and that's contributed to our Traveler Stein like that. But I couldn't just like sit down and write things down, because pretty much any time, even getting the time to do this, and then pretty much any time I sit down, it's like, oh, something's going on, baby's crying, need to sort it out. And that's obviously the priority for me, is obviously going to be my child beyond anything else. But
I believe that babies have an altimeter in them, like,
oh yeah,
you're holding them and they're happy, and then like if you sit down, if you do anything that takes the tension off your lower back, then they get unhappy, right? So like they need to be a certain level above sea level.
Yeah, the way it worked with Nada at the time, I was like, people were going, oh, parenthood was so hard, and my baby was lovely for like the first, I want to say 4 or 5 months. But my baby was lovely, slept a lot, fed easily, breastfed, we did everything as right as we could do. Health was great. I was, I still got loads of time. I can do things. I was on paternity leave, so I could just get on with what I was doing, get on with something as huge, well, not as huge, but as in-depth as Traveler Stein. And everything was good. Everything was great. Everything was good. And then literally, kid you not, I had so many plans to StarStein. I was going to do, I was going to do sections, I was going to do real gaming, I was going to do all this amazing stuff. I was going to be the best I said on the bloody Twitter thing, I'm going to make this the best Star Wars RPG ever that a bloody play. If you disagree, well, you know,
Before we get into the
yeah,
StarStein, though, I do want to add a follow up on
yeah,
something you mentioned.
yes,
Traveler, you said, was uniquely
yeah,
a good rule set for trying
oh
to do
yeah,
the Stein, and you said the Cthulhu one
absolutely.
did not support you as much. What do you think is the difference? Like, what are the
Okay,
tools that
so
you need to run a Stein versus the ones that might be lacking or distracting?
Okay, so with Travelstein, and as you got books, I specifically for this because I've been playing with the PDF of the three books, right? They're classic traveler books, but I suppose we went through Drive for Afghan. I got the facsimile edition, which is all three books in as one.
Yeah.
We've had a tiny bit in the errata. It's a really, really like if you want to get in classic travel and you want a physical copy, I'd highly recommend the facsimile edition. There's another nonsense. There's another one what's called the Traveler book or something like that. That's like book room to free, but with more of the baked in setting in it. And I didn't like that. Never I done my best and I just thought I wanted the bare duns basic as whatever as you could get, but I like the idea of, and this may piss someone off, that as much as I love D&D 1A, the thing I've always not liked about the book, the D&D layout, is the idea of splitting into 3 books. I'm like, no, I don't play every 800 pages. Give me the big book that I can just sit down and read.
Complete,
yeah. And that's what I liked about it. Trevor Soak. So anyway, with Traveller, so to go on a fat tangent, Traveller has everything you need, right? And I think a good Braunstein has one or both of these two things. So it has really good well-known map generation. That is so important. Like straight in the book, no homeload, no cast ruled. It's just straight down the book. It's here's some tables that you can use, no prep time, no anything like that. Just roll some dice, boom, hit your map. But great stuff. That's how it should be. Traveller has lots of that. It's brilliant. You can start in a Traveller today. I could start getting Traveller with you right now. I'd be like, good. Let's have a set. I said, characters, map, that, 1 in 10 minutes. I've got throw. Brilliant. The second thing is going more into like the Ganbuster style thing that Traveller also does this well, is that you've had a full procedure of play, right? Everything's very well explained. It looks back on itself really easily. It's like a core game loop of, say, as I tell you, to real play, early describes something like Ganbuster. It's based on something that can apply to Traveller, where like just you look at things. Let me actually get the book up. So
okay.
Maxish, so that book in my hands right now.
So while you're looking through that, just to reiterate, ease of generation, just tools that help you generate a map or generate a faction, and that is something that Traveller is so efficient at. Not only like you can get a whole character in a string of code, you can get a whole planet in a string of code. Like Traveller is so efficient at everything that it does.
So as you got it in, and then it immediately turns off the page. Lovely. The best, it's one of the heaviest parts. So page 10 of book 2, right? Okay. You have immediately the formula for interplanetary journeys, like right there. And that goes into the real time thing. It's right there, like a white. Here's how long it takes to go from point A to point B, right? That's brilliant. That enables one of the best things about a real-time game, where you have 2 parties that sort of end up intersecting without any plan to do so. Like they just end up meeting up at one point in the map, and then something happens. And it's never, I guess if you're never go on to both you right, hey, how you doing? My name's Dirk, my name's Bill. Let's not, right? Let's just hug and think of my fuck you, that kind of thing. Now it's like, well, fuck you meet you, like, if we meet you, well, let's make something a face, or it can be something as simple as, you've only cool stuff on you. That's cool. I'm taking that.
Yeah.
Or something so as simple as that. And I think that my mentality, that comes from just sort of video games I used to play back in the day, like Eve Online, which was very sort of player-focused, player-driven, self-centered PvP sort of thing. It's like you start your own goals into your goals. Yeah, you can align with other people, and that can be encouraged in some ways, but the idea is you are an individual. You do things individually. There's probably a better word for it, but just, I guess, a bloody sociopath would be a good way of describing it. But yes, you play the sociopath. You've got to, in an extent, in a wargaming system. Is if you've got time, if you can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna get on people just because you got a conscience. It's like, what's in it for me?
Yeah, you really nailed me on that one. I'm feeling the I'm feeling the guilt because in my StarStein I did actually play a sociopath. Or maybe a psychopath is a better way to. I don't know. Either way, my character.
And there's sensitivity.
Definitely chewed through a bunch of the other characters. So then, what is it about? I mean, again, we're not trying to bash rules or editions, but like for this style of play, what was it that set Call of Cthulhu apart and said, it just doesn't have the stuff I need?
I think like I said, so a hallmark of Braunstein play, how do you want to pronounce it? Braunstein, whatever the fuck. I think a hallmark of it is, like I said, that ability to do things with very little prep. Cthulhu is the opposite, huge prep. Yeah. Like it's. I don't then call it a story game because I think it has wonderful mechanics when used appropriately. But you need to kind of be a little bit more into that story game. You need to be more like, what's the narrative? We're going to do an investigation, and I need to make sure that some NPCs did some things at the correct time, and there's clues lying around, and we can sort of guide the investigators through. And so the thing is, saying that. So there's not spin off, but that's kind of a retro clone. I guess you could disagree, right? I don't think out of it. And then there was going to be a pre-made adventure. I know people tend to know it's up here, and I mostly do too. But this pre-made adventure, sort of gave me the idea for Cthulhu, which is impossible landscapes for Delta Green, right? And they think that scenario has so many elements that could work so well in the Braunstein. You have different factions who may be around with each other, may not, working in certain ways, and you end up in this position where you've got the players in the middle. You have to go through this labyrinthine thing, and it's not about what the GM does. It's about what the factions do. Obviously, in a regular committed point, it's about the controls everything, but Braunstein's situation, it wouldn't be like, okay, so this faction's going to do this thing that I, as the GM, didn't anticipate, and a missed faction will do this thing, and that causes them to come into conflict. And when the players in the middle, they don't necessarily know what's going on, but they're sort of being targeted by these factions. And that was basically my idea for Cthulhu. I wanted the birds to come in and manipulate the players into doing certain things, and use the player as sort of like tools in the game to mess things around and mess players around. But I think I hate saying capitulating about this, but I think I need slightly more prep. I needed to. The biggest mistake was I started off saying I was just in the world. I should have narrowed it down from the beginning. I did that in the end when I said, we're going to put in San Francisco, because for whatever reason, what players are like, let's go into San Francisco. I should have narrowed it down to that from the beginning and gone, in a rule game sense, here's the map, here's the concrete map, here's the locations and things. And I did that with StarStein. I learned my lesson. When I did that, I did have a very, very slight amount of prep. And I don't mean, here's my amazing, incredible narrative that as a failed author who really desperately wants you to acknowledge that he's a great author. Here's my wonderful story that I've made. I'm going to drag you by the nose through. But more like, here's a place. It's just context. Prep time, good prep time is just context. It's a kit.
So the reason I wanted to camp on that, and I am a Star Wars D6 fan.
Oh yeah, man.
I've got my Imperial source book here. I got my first edition, and I got my the source book. And this is not something I bought at a friendly local game. I've had this since I got it as a kid.
I actually have many of those books too.
Playing that game, or at least remember, it's been a while since I played it, but it seems to me like more similar to Cthulhu than to Traveler, in that it's very much like you get 6 attributes, you get your skills under the attributes. It seems more skill based than and definitely. I mean, part of it is just that we all know the setting, right? Like that may be like
Yeah.
it's got some resonance built in. It's already got some recognition. But what is it about? How did you find using West End Games Star Wars D6 for a Braunstein? Was it set up to support
Well,
it, or did you need to add a bunch of your own stuff?
Well, I need to add a bunch of my own stuff, but I had to change how I did the Braunstein in order to accommodate it. So
Yeah.
I was going for the traditional Braunstein, which is what I did for Traveller. And that, but plus there were several reasons why I had to change it. But the big one was the rules. So unlike in Traveller, there was no rules for how long things take to do or how long travel is. Like
Yeah.
the way I set it up to, it was only on a single planet. It's not a star system or a StarStein. She will be a star system, but StarStein was one planet. It says there was just nothing. There was nothing there, and I basically just had to at first. I used to that I had to do because I hate being arbitrary in my games. I hate, and by arbitrary I mean having to make up something that's not in the rules that doesn't really mean anything. And it's like, okay, well, so I've noticed you're going to go with 1.9 to point program, then so that takes 2 to 3 hours, and I'm like, no, bullshit, no, that's shit. No, why does it take 2 to 3 hours? And then I was trying really hard for like the first 2 weeks, I want to say, to really think that sort of narrow, like, wait, run time, everything, for every hour that passes, everything's gonna, so like, Miller, let's get my mic's fucked up. Okay, so, for every hour that passes, so for every hour that passes, the amount on the pass in the game mode. So that was, because it worked with Traveller Stein, because everything was so rigid with Traveller Stein, everything was private the book. Couldn't do that. It was annoying. And I ended up in a situation, probably because my child had decided now is the perfect time to start being annoying, even though I love my child. Now is the perfect time to start demanding attention and, having to spend a lot more time with her, which I don't begrudge at all. But I couldn't do what I wanted to do, which was sessions, and also the rooms didn't support that one-to-one time. So I ended up doing this thing where I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to nick the idea of gangbusters, where you give me like an order a day, and then everyone gives me their orders, we resolve it, and then on to the next day. And depending on how things go, I may have to change the order slightly or something like that. The intent, if the game didn't end up exploding, I mean, literally exploding. I can tell you the ending in a bit. I've got that. I actually got I have my notes, and I'll tell you exactly what happened throughout the entire campaign for your audience if you want. It's a bit of a shit show, but a lovely one. Family shit show. I don't mean that to disparage any of my plays. They're all awesome, and they did the best job that they could possibly do. But man, Scott fucking Steiner, man, hell, anyway, I feel like I've gone on a tangent again. But they did the order thing just because I thought it would make it better for people with less time, and so it became a dash. I'll probably be for mine that some players near the end. It's because I was able to tell them, hey, but you don't need to do much. Just come in, everyone start up your head in, post an order for a day, and then resolve it the next day. Done. And a lot of people came to me afterwards that, well, your game was great because I just post something, not really think about too much, just get on with it, and I don't have to be as rigid and more gamey as other brands. Not said that's a bad thing. Also, it's nothing I like. That's what I wanted to do from the first place, but that's what I have to do, the gangbusters thing for the sake of my marriage, because my lovely wife, who was also in the game, she was in the game, she was playing Emperor Palpatine. She was trying to tell me how you're spending, because the first 2 or 3 days I was spending for the majority of the day just resolving orders and resolving what people wanted and doing it in that rigid sort of noted, structured way, and it didn't work. So I had to do the gangbusters thing for the sake of my lovely marriage. And it was better for a little bit. I'm no longer in the dab house. I can sleep in the bed again. So it's all good.
Yeah. That's always the threat with this, right? Like when the bros first started playing with this fire, everybody immediately got super excited.
Oh yeah.
And it ate the DM almost every time. Just ate them. So
it is to them because it's so bloody interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's nothing. Just you get your regular sessions. It's lying down once a week. You find a monster, get some treasure, get pat on the head at the end, DM goes, you did a good job, well done, here's some bonus XD, and then that's it. Whereas if it's constant, you can't just get off and go back to your regular lives because communities through Discord. So look on this world, such and such has happened. Oh my God, this place is blowing up. Oh God, there's been a massive earthquake. Oh God, math has turned the entire rebel forces into jihadists. I just kind of just up there, maths now. I've been talking about how she's got at the head, Pete. Okay, I need to take. I'll tell you some of the things before you reflect on mask, as we called. It was that time that I had said the rebels and I was Patron's getting the same selling. I'm from handling. There's just so much to talk about. But it was very overwhelming for me. I never had this many plays before with StarStein, and I'm really excited to talk about it. But yeah.
So that's one of the things that really sets StarStein apart for me. Most of the Braunsteins I've played in, it's 8 people, 10, 12 people at most. I cannot imagine what it was like having 27 people pile into this thing. Did you have a moment of panic?
Yeah, it's like I think I might even said some on Twitter. Like I posted it through the audience. 20 dates. If there's 26 or something at that point, or 25. I thought I had to start me with my doing with my life. How have I done this? I've got one of these people who expect me to do a good game, and I'm shit. I'm so much shitter at this compared to someone like Jeff or anyone really. I've put the Stokes in myself quite like the Navy sort of this. And here's the shit test. Here's the real shit test. Here's the single swim. Get on with it. I just went, I'm like, you know what, no warning, let's get on with it. Let's just fucking do that and do the best job I can. And I will, because the reason I did this StarStein campaign, I'll tell you the actual origin of StarStein in particular was, so I had big drama with Griff the Ferret Tongue, as I call him. He was staff, called him last names, but that's the most polite name I can call him.
Okay.
So he had that whole thing. He was like, I'll know Braunstein, even though he doesn't, because it's historical fucking IP, you dickhead. And off. Basically, when I could turn this streak of snapshot about stars, so I could talk about how much your Levson creature he is, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, so then we had an idiot merchants coming in saying, don't say, but you'll ever actually ready to doubt Griff the Furpton. He's doing really bad things at this. So I start messaging some of them. And I start publicly saying on Twitter, you know what, you slide off the pedestal, you say Braunsteins don't work, one-to-one time doesn't play. It's not real. I've soon literally make the most outlandish claims things. I don't really playing a game at all. You're just coming on Twitter and saying it's a good game and you're not doing anything. You're not really playing. You're just making stuff up. No, here's your opportunity. I have not best GM. I'll tell you what, I'm not best GM. What makes these games good is the prestige of the Braunstein, right? The players, they make it good. So here's an opportunity. You could egg on my face, you could egg on Jeffo's face, you could put egg on your face, you could put egg on every single member of the Bros last days. Here's the fucking glare they've done as kind of in a wrestling promo move. And I did this. The Beverly Blatton is fucking during my game. Yeah? The gym, put a table, you enjoy a game, and you can prove definitively that everyone that this thing doesn't work. They remember now is nothing goes wrong, rule shit. Fuck that. You can do it. And you know what happens? Nothing of that and one of the straight legs. Some of Nick not some and I've got better things to do. There's some fucking there was some fucking insurrection on the peak of the mountain. Metal editing on how they can turn in out of the next clones. At this time, we'll put this one. You'll be at some miles, but I'm give you shooting rules and stuff because there's never been shooting rules and then fucking hell did people don't even fucking read the books. Oh god. So I keep going. I'm a very opinionated person, and I have several decades worth of run inside of me, and I will fucking go on.
Fair enough. I was on Rolling Bones with Ryan. He asked me to come talk about the Braunstein thing, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to have enough to talk about. And then once you start and it starts coming out, it's like, yeah. So I get you, man. I feel you.
I'm completely similar. If I'm rambling on with somebody, I've just got something to talk about.
Understood, man. And this is a safe place to have your ramble, by the way.
Yeah. So
within reason.
So of course, because I'm not going to mention some of the other things I talk about on Twitter. So basically, As I said, so, and it couldn't blow up, basically. I was putting like, no, down in my face. And they didn't. Not a single one of them did. And I horror that to them forevermore. Whenever they tried, at least things down level, well, I'll show you the fucking receipt. I messaged you, cunts. I messaged all the regular people you could think of. I messaged them. I didn't just on the public Twitter. I messaged them, I DM'd them. They have the DM. I have evidence that I did that. And they didn't fucking turn up. They totally know. So they can't fucking say anything about us anymore. It might be, that's the conception.
The real bros are bro blogs receipts, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's the thing, is to say you were playing a system that was not optimized for Braunstein. You were playing with 27 people, and you have already admitted that you aren't the best DM, and yet
don't need to be.
Still sounds like everybody involved had an amazing time. They're still talking about it on Twitter. Everybody that was looking forward to the next one, it was like it was that magic.
Oh yeah, well, okay. If I had shit players, it wouldn't have been good. Straight up, like I completely thank all of my players, every last one of them, for taking a chance on me. Relatively unknown. I'm not a known quantity within the Boasar or anything like that. But no, I didn't, even though I respected the Boasar, I didn't consider myself part of the grade because I hadn't been played. I hadn't gone through the initiation ceremony yet, and God, that was a terrifying thing. That is the last time I read Necronomicon. Anyway, so basically I wasn't considering myself, but then that's when happened, and really interacting with them, and I'm making friends with these people and talking to them and having fun. It was a good time. But again, like I said, I'm rambling again, I'm sorry. But you don't need to be a good GM. Just have good players. Have the TMP off. Just have some good fucking players. Have the balls to have some good players. Even if you're the most conventional play person ever, have the balls to say, you're at my game because you're cool. You're not in my game because you're a cunt and a wind up and a done like you. Fuck you. You're not good enough. Okay, you've got to have the balls that you got to have this sort of on everyone mindset that everyone's this fungible, replaceable token. You can just plep them person out and put another person in it. That's just not in RPGs. I just think GMs, especially the more megalomaniacal, which I used to be be honest. I still am, but not. I'm a megalomaniacal person, but I'm not megalomaniacal GM. So, they just kept something out, post one in. It's like a script, just like, I'm casting these characters, like, they're finding their characters. That it's my game. I really prepped this out. It's my first unit campaign in my reams of text, and it doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't matter if you play for 40 years or 1 year.
The Basic Expert had a recent video where he talked about like theory crafters and people that like haven't really played, and so it's like,
absolutely.
I don't know. It sounded like you were feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome from what you were saying earlier, but I would say you are a full-on bro. You have run a Braunstein, you blogged the receipts, you shared what happened, and that puts you ahead of everybody who's still playing conventional style and doesn't know what they're talking about. When the bros talk about this stuff, we tried it your way. It's not like this is all we've ever known. We tried it your way, and it wasn't good enough for us, and we were looking for that better thing, and boom, here it is. Hashtag thank you, Jeffro. Hashtag man, it feels good to be a bro.
Yes. But it's this thing they always tell us, don't they? It's like, yes, I'm exclusionary. You're so shitfoot bullies. But let's put my hand out to them. I may off man him. I specifically started StarStein. Part of the reason I was shit talking was I said, anyone can join. And you can see my Twitter and go back to I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago when I was like, anyone can join. And I had a lot of people join who weren't part of the process. So I had never played a Braunstein. I had my little brother come in who had never played a TTRPG at all. But then an interesting conversation we had next. He played a lot of what's called Nation RP, which I think is an unintentional missing link of Braunstein's. The way they play that, they had that I'm playing that later. This is the best part point was like, just come in and they accept, and anyone, the best room you're in, and there are some rules of conduct, and there's, I think there's things, I do believe personally that there should be some kind of social contract, not a physical, literal social contract, but rules, conduct. So you have to say, you're polite, you don't mess me around, you don't try to be too obnoxious. We have listen banter, we have some light humor, that kind of thing. That's good. I don't them in say to left merchants to come in and be like, this is the shittest thing ever. I pay you lay everything, and then they just leave and they don't try to trade it out. And if when just be respectful enough to just give it up for $30, just give it a go. It's like don't come in and don't come in just to fuck me up. Then I was saying that I did basically offer. To an extent, it was a gamut. I knew a lot of them would say no. I would kind of expect. What I expected to happen was they'd come in, the PDF guys, they'd come in, the LSRs would come in, and they'd be like, "This is shit. I don't like this," and then they'd leave, and then they could screenshot over the DMs and make fun of them on Twitter. That is not what happened. They just, I've ignored mealtime straight up. Nope. Not doing it. I had better things to do. If that's so many of them said the exact word, like those better things to do. The rest of it, what is it? Kind of then when like Brim guy? Is it just PD? Is it just an RPG pundit entitled out of size? Just those sort of puppets it is those books? I don't know. I can't say. I'm just alleging.
I'm trying to figure out like maybe when you get so on one side, it might be threatening to try it out. Because what if they do like it? You know what I mean? What if it really does transform their game in a way they've been denying?
But that's what I said. The way I tried, I want to bait them, but I tried to get them in. I tried to get them in. Like, yeah, shit talking to an extent, but I was like, okay, prove me wrong. People the biggest way doesn't work. This is terrible. You're so opinionated about this, and then the wrong way is the wrong. Right, there's 10th amendment, but remember then I'm the universe where I'm wrong and you're right. So, put me wrong. Prove me wrong. I keep coming at this, but because I'm still kind of pissed off that none of them came in. Even so, they just take the piss out of them and bully them just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a good natured movement. They're a little swollen here, as you know. So they didn't even try it. Because the last thing that would have happened is they could have gone on there to it and gone, well, Jane had a Braunstein in it, you shoot, and I don't like it. And this is more proof that the LSR is superior and the Braunstein are racist, anti-Semitic, evil trolls. I'm like, well, okay, well, I'm not sure. I believe everything I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, to a greater or lesser extent, there was some degree of irony. Every time I say something, I'm saying it because it's my actual opinion. You know, I'm not trying to make some right satire. I just want people to know that I am objectively right about RPGs and Braunsteins and all that, and those people around. And if you listen, many, and you're listening to Jeff, and you listen to you, and you listen to Andrea Blue Gaming, and his other YouTube channels, Twitter catalog, you listen to Embeds, we might guide you. And we are so generous, we do the 30. Okay, we've blended the food. You'll guide you by the hand how to make food and memories and RPGs and every stuff. I just did not get them thing that's like, how do you know? There's no objective metric. Gets them is like I can drag out right now and say, here's how much fun you have. Here's how much fun I have. It says that now. What about? I think it's got 8 right now. That's me. We're down there to be a hot down makers doing how because you're Christian, but but basically, yeah.
So, man, that makes it sound. I mean, I would even be even more intimidated because it's like, first of all, you're using a system that's not ideal for it, and a ton of people, and you have purposefully opened it up to people that are looking for a reason to hate it. And then your wife is like, "You're spending too much time on this."
And this thing, I don't know. He came back. That like gave them opportunity to just completely, and they could have easily just said this was shit and didn't like it.
Tried it and it sucked.
So no matter what they can say to me and trust me, they all give me, and I'm told they know my name, which is weird because I'm in metal today, so they have fuck with their name. What is my better name, not my real name, but yeah, and I'm at then Clemsty to them, and that sounds bizarre. I'm a bit megalomaniac, but I didn't think I'd get like the amount of hate, as it's called in the wrestling business, as then it's like bizarre to me. I mean, that city, that just me, little old neighbours. I thought something like 300 followers on Twitter is enough to piss them off. Are they really that pathetic? Are they dicks from that smell? I guess so. Yeah.
All right. So, in my last question before we get into what all actually happened, did the 27 all show up right at once, or was it like a slow trickle, or like how did it go?
I don't want to say. I think that 20 people at the end of the first day. And then as I was trying and failing to sleep that day because I was so anxious, I was trying. I did that. I think about a few more trickled in, and it got to about 20. I want to say 25. I'm check up in a bit after his stream, so I got the exact receipts. But I think I might even take a screenshot of it. I'm not certain. Don't take my word for it. But
yeah.
I was like, I get expecting paid to. I was expecting like 8 people. I got like 10 fucking.
So having that many people,
yes,
having that many people immediately challenges one of the assumptions of conventional play that I think is bad for DMs that this style is good for, and that is you cannot ensure that 27 people have a good time.
Yeah.
That is not on you because it's impossible. The conventional mindset is the DM creates the world and makes the story, and then the DM is responsible for whether I had a good time or not. And I can be mad if I didn't.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things the Broasar throws right out. You know, Alexander McCrease, who's not a bro, but is definitely respected by the community, he says it's not the DM's job to make sure everyone has fun. The DM's job is to present an environment where fun is possible, and it's on the players to enjoy it or not. So did you feel any of that tension when you're like, how do I keep 27 people entertained? Or were you just like,
to an extent,
not my job?
Yeah, but basically I had to start listening to my own bullshit that I was saying on Twitter, which was basically like, okay, so I've always had this idea that you're correct. It's not the DM's job to provide the fun. The players have to provide the fun. My job as DM is to adjudicate as fairly and as possible. Not wouldn't, but fairly and logically within the confines of the rulebook that I'm using. So, for instance, I had a player at one point in StarStein say they wanted to do a particular thing. I don't want to talk about that. So, a similar spin out in the Travis stunt, but she's like, so in Travis stunt, I had this thing right in the first week. Then all my players were like, we're going to bomb each other. We want to do orbital bombardment. Said SpaceX, they could do it.
Oh my gosh.
The bullshit was, I was going to keep to book 1 to 3, but then suddenly, I put off because book 4 has some rules for that. And so I look at book 4, it's really fucking complicated and mathematical, and I'm shit at maths, but I'm going to do my best and put my best foot forward. And I go, okay, cool, use book 4. And then the same place, actually, now I'm going to make the wrong rules because the book 4 rules aren't very good. I'm like, what? No, that's not. Okay, right. The weirdest context, like got into a fucking football game, American football game, and then taking out the happy stuff and going, I didn't let Fern pull a shirt. I'm just going to hit you with my hockey stick now.
Yeah.
I'm saying I couldn't do it. So I'm just assuming I could. And that's actually a big issue of RPGs in general. That like, with any other game, if it's ground games of spirits or anything like that, if the riddles, so that was bees and hables. If something isn't mentioned in the menus, it doesn't exist. You don't do it. It's not because I don't know. There is an event for me. You had some people on the head of the hockey sticks. I'll just add that because there's so many different versions of American football. You guys, everyone's version of American football is valid. The version I hit you on the head with a hockey stick is just as valid as the one played by the NFL.
I'd like to add my tackle rule to chess.
It's had so they were just an bigger cream like that's it.
Yeah.
Just should if you say chess would be so much better.
On the other hand, as someone who's been a devious player of Braunstein's, part of the game that I perceive, and this might be an enraging part, like this is something that that I might need to be addressed on, but like part of it is what can I meme up that is so interesting that the DM will just allow it because it's fun and cool. Right? And so at that point I'm like, all right, I'm dependent on the ref to like check me up and say, you just asked for the moon on a stick, bud. No, we can't do this.
I guess it would depend, like I don't know if I can say, but the thing we're talking about doing for Emergence, which I think is a great idea, and I'm happy to enable that for you. But if I don't get you in that situation,
because that might be.
I'm not going to go on talk. I'm only talking in generals, but But if I don't let you in, and I would prevent it with someone telling me I can sort of this whole other game, and the gym for that game is agreeing to give much more from, say, this part of this place and sort of put it into something, let's say, hypothetically, well, okay, how do I do that mechanically? Right, because my home thing is, I don't like make others I don't like being arbitrary. I like making up rules. I want to ideally just have the rule book.
Yeah.
And you've presented a rule to you, which could be funny. It could be very funny. But how do you it's come imagine like okay, I'm gonna take my space marines from raw ammo, I'm just gonna drop them into D&D.
Yeah.
And then the GM has to think that, okay, how do I stat Space Marines in the D&D framework? How do I make them like accurate but also fun, and
maybe
get
just
this extra
set
work
them
on the
up as
GM?
golems if they're in their armor. I don't know.
Yeah, actually that could work. So they'll get matched. That's a solution. That's what a good
But
GM
yeah, the
does.
point
They
is,
think of a
if a player wants to
within
do
the
that,
rules.
if the player
Yeah.
wants to do that, then the DM of the
Yeah.
D&D group says, all right, you can bring your
Yeah.
guys over, but here's how that works in my universe.
Yeah.
Here's what you're
Absolutely.
beholden to, and you don't just get to get what you asked for. Now you got to role play it out and see if you can make it happen, right?
Yeah. Like, yeah, but basically, like, I'm always of the opinion that if you can do something, there's a GM, and it doesn't make me a doormat GM, but I don't like saying no to my group. What I would say is, can you do that within the scope of the rules?
Yeah.
Is that possible? Now, example I'll give is someone that's idle to make a bomb. And I was, okay, you know how to make a bomb? As I'm the couch and I said, to make a bomb, I get a do you know how to make the bomb within the mechanics of the game? That's what I'm saying. And they're like, oh, Nemekelp just knows. And I don't know the mechanics of making the bomb. Come on, you need to know the mechanic. I'm happy to do this for you. Happy will have you make the bomb, but you need to know, you need to know the procedure for doing it. Right? Mm-hmm. You can't just ignore that rule if that rule would exist. Now, if I'm in the game where someone's like, let's have this. That's actually something that happened in Afghanistan. So I want to make a bomb out of this one thing. I'm like, does the character have that ability? I'm like, yeah. And we went through it, plus a bit back and forth. And I took out a I'll let you do this because your player knows what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You know, it's all within the scope of the rules. Let's just get on with it. That I don't like is people just going, awesome and amazing. And it's like you play like games when you were like a kid, like when like you where like you hit someone and they're like, oh no, I'm invincible. Why are you invincible? That's why. That's what I don't like.
Yeah,
like just making up bullshit. You know, that your child.
Well, so here's an example from I'm playing in Bradford Walker's game. I'm in charge of the dwarves.
Yeah.
And on the first week, he's like, I had gotten my city. Yeah. He's like, well, what do you want to do? And I've been playing a game called Soul. I think it's pronounced Soul. It's the U is a V. But the dwarves in that have cannon. And I was like, well, we'd like to develop some dwarven cannon. And because it's so complete, first edition, he's like, well, I'm going to take the spell research rules and apply it to this. And so it's like, you can try to do that, but like it's been weeks and I still don't have the cannon in the field because it takes so long to develop it, to test it, to build up the military industrial complex, So it's like, you can try anything you want, but it's got to either fit with the rules that are already in the game or ones that would be consistent.
Didn't interview. Don't interview. Sorry, but my life is trying to call me something.
Oh, that's right.
Well, I don't know if you can actually hear my baby cry. It's probably going to sound weird with the voice thing on the...
Oh, no worries.
Yeah.
No worries.
So that's the dog here. I mean, so I've had to pull some teeth to get this tie. But I'm here now, so I don't want to keep in what you're saying. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh, no worries. I pretty much finished the thought that like, as a DM in these kind of scenarios, the first thing is if it's a cool idea, you want to at least entertain it, but it has to fit in the rule system. And if there's no rule in the system, then you've got to make a call.
Yeah.
What is it like? Is it like a rule that I can use?
Yeah.
But sometimes you just got to say, like Jeffro with the Travelerstein. Sometimes you just got to say, that is a stupid idea, Dunder Moose. That is the dumbest thing you've ever come up with. That doesn't fit the genre. That doesn't fit the rules. That doesn't fit anything that we're going for. Nice try again.
Yeah,
Sometimes you got to do that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, and this is another thing that I think a lot of conventional RPG games don't know, is that ability to have the balls to say, no, that's dumb.
Yeah.
That's
What
dumb.
else?
Don't do
Yeah,
it.
that's dumb.
It's not.
Let's not do that.
It's
What
not in
else?
the rules. It's not my Byron Hill version of playing D&D, and it's my version of D&D, and all meeting them up. No, the fuck it is. Here's the rules. It's not in the book. Go and lie.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what? Lose the game. You're shit. You're stupid. I don't like you. Go
And
away.
that's the thing with 1E is
You know?
there's so much that's in the rules. Like 1E, you
Yeah.
can tag in Boot Hill. 1E,
Oh
you
yeah.
can tag in. There's so many other games
Mm.
that have space lasers and all that kind of stuff. And
Oh, yeah, man. And I was actually looking into, and I haven't played 1E yet, but I would really like to. I tried years ago in a conventional pleasure thing, and that was when I was like 12, and I didn't understand anything because I was a stupid teenager.
right on.
But I just see my introduction was the bastardized version of 3.5 that was present in Neverwinter Nights. That was like my
Okay.
first,
Right
because
on.
it was a video game, but that was a video game. That was my first introduction, because Neverwinter Nights had the ability to create user-generated content so much compared to, and I think that's what sort of kneecapped it a bit, because even though people then, oh, well, they compared it, they had no other reference, they compared it to Baldur's Gate and the campaigns, the campaign week. Well, it's not meant to be a very bland story of a campaign. It's meant to be a tool set. Like D&D itself, it's meant to be a thing he used to create. I call it the RPG. I don't know if you had an RPG maker, which is a game for making like JR3 sort of.
Yeah, I've got whatever. I don't have the latest one. I have the one before the latest.
Yeah. So
MV
Neverwinter Nights is basically that, but for CRPGs, and that's what made it so incredible. And that was my introduction to RPGs in general, and 3.5. So coming from that to 1E, and I'm like, oh, where's the schooner? Where's the things that tell me what to do? Because I can't think properly because I'm only a stupid teenager, stuff for that. And I didn't know what I was doing in the G, and he was very, very patient, and he's a lovely chap. And he explained things to me, and I tried really hard to understand it. Even I couldn't. And at HD, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And I went back to 3.5. And nowadays, of the benefit of a full set of chest hair and save, I think, even though I've not played it, and some may disagree with this, I think 1E is better than 3.5 because I've done like excessive amounts of skills. I don't like it when, you have the binary of you pass, fail based on this skill. And I understand where that exists because 3.5 is trying really hard to be like almost like called Cthulhu, right? Where it's like called that's a skill. But what Cthulhu was better than 3.5 onwards is you need somebody to figure out a way to use those skills. They're generic enough that there's leeway in how you can use it. Whereas with D&D, it's like Poseidon. You use that to talk to people. They're too specific, right? If you're going out of skill system, make it the ambiguous. Like it's a heading for persuade skill. I don't have it be like an attention score. You roll charisma to get someone's attention. Once you've got their attention, it's up to you to be role play in that situation and convince that character that, well, if you want, I hate persuade rolls so much. And those who use persuade rolls and make persuade rolls into their games deserve to be put in camps.
Okay, so going back to StarStein, what was the first thing that a player did that really blew your hair back and made you say this is something new? And who was the player that like accomplished it?
This used to call me by their StarStein name. I don't have their let me see if I can get it said. It would be so we had Alisanus, he played Darth Vader, right?
Okay.
Then he did two like amazing in-character things that I champion, but also made a lot of work for me. So first of all, so the very first objective for the Imperial players, StarStein, was the approved authorities were telling the Imperials to fuck off and they weren't going to let them run their troops. And so the Emperor told the Imperials, right, so you've got to find a way to get your troops onto the planet, however you can. I leave that up to you to get the troops unless you can, because was that basically really into the rebels. Right, the planet, they're really into the rebels. Not as, if not the rebels, at least their own rebellious ideas. And they just weren't playing building here. So Darth Vader, so we had this thing where basically one of three players under Vader, if they had noticeable characteristic, because Vader did Vader things to him, but basically
Did Vader things?
Yeah, he did. Choke. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Jacob Huck is in the
yeah,
chat, and he said, "I was Admiral Dashcourt in StarStein before Vader
he
force
did,
choked me."
So it's basically that was a home. That was a whole thing. So basically, so what happened was, Darth Vader was okay. So this guy who was under Vader. He originally playing Drax, he's playing the character before Drax, his name I might not forget, but he basically was trying to talk to the Imperial Governor, and the Imperial Governor was like mid-Kratos. He was a disgusting, degenerate sort of guy. He was really trying to play this disgusting degenerate guy, and he was like, oh, and I thought, okay, just leave me alone, I've got stuff to do. Whatever, and just stonewalling him. As he goes to Vader, he turns off Daddy, he turns to Daddy Vader, Garth gets grassed up, and Daddy was, no, fuck this. It's fucking definitely, there's a bombardment. I'm like, I think there's a factory next door to the city, and just thumbs it up. And but that was about, and everything, I'm back, and the rebels like, what the fuck? There's no destroyers then fucking invading destruction upon us. And I was like, right, that's exactly the sort of thing you got Vader would do.
Rock on, man.
And it scared everyone into going down, but no, that was like the first thing. And then there was some situation where the rebels were played really smart, and they were able to sabotage several things, and they basically caused. I think that one rebel player, he had multiplayer characters. He was Patron, and he had multiplayer characters. He ended up in a situation where he sabotaged multiple systems about the dunking systems. This I'm losing control from my notes as I'm telling you this, so if I seem a bit spaced out, that's why. So basically, there was dunking systems on the planet, and as the Imperials were landing, it was supposed to be a sure thing from there to start. All the ships start crashing into one another, and a lot of their troops ended up getting killed based on that.
That's awesome.
And so Vader was pissed off, and so the guy who Drax was playing at the time, he just said, "Gus, you failed me." I believe that's what happened. That's what I put in my notes, is that, okay, man, that's a kind of shit. And the one was the Vader was a suit in the Mayo. Yeah, that's all the relevant. It's about Vader was being Sigma, and that was it. That shut up. And with the largest metal pipe, I said, no, look, it wasn't trouble. It wasn't trouble. Now what happens, even if it completely destroys the game, is music's within the reference of the rules. Yeah. And it was completely within, Darth Vader's purview, because that was something Darth Vader would do. That was great, and it shook things up, because he's a kind of getting to a bit of a man at that point. And then put in certain thing. And then that was the second thing happening. And this is one of the times when I start thinking, okay, maybe I should have done something about this, had added some kind of rule, but that would have been, again, the arbitrary bullshit about my. So they had this moment there, but then there were two fake editors. When Hill was playing, he's actually a friend of mine. I'm going to call him by his playing name. He said, Luke, he's playing Luke Skywalker, but it wasn't Luke Skywalker as you know him. It was an alternate version of Luke who like join the Imperial Academy and was like evil.
So he got off Tatooine. He didn't have to stay on and help with whatever chores. Okay.
And he was leaded by the notable and fallen Imperial hero Jeremy Clarkson. I don't know if you know Jeremy Clarkson is. He's kind of a fixture in television where I'm from, and in basically the players are, I met Jeremy Clarkson, an Imperial sergeant, like a stormtrooper sergeant. And they were hunting this droid through the jungle. This is jungle planet of Terran, and they were hunting him, and this jungle droid, he was StarStein's first player character. He's playing HK-47, which was not bullshit. That was completely canon, Star Wars, because he occurred in European Star Wars galaxies. He was one of the bosses in that game. It was completely legitimate, and anyone who preached about that, I will show you my own fucking video from 2007 when I tried that fucking line for the best time, and I read it. And it really happened. Outcome 47 was a bet in Star Wars galaxy. It won't be blessed that shit, but it was canon. So shut the fuck up. the person who said that. But so I used to play HP 37, so I thought that would be a cool character. And there was a more, it was like one of the big references to this planet. It was like steeped in that sort of lore. And I said, those two were hunting the joy. Then we had them catch playing Biggs, who was playing Biggs. I don't
So
know.
you had named characters, like it wasn't just Rebel number 4. You got Big Darklighter in there.
So then there's the joys of this game, and I think what something players was I was able to tell people, you don't need to have a character, I'll just give you one. And the thing about, as you would know, Star 66 is there's templates for any character you could run. So you don't play Han Solo, just here's the show, get in with it, you know? And that was the strength, just because you've got the name characters everyone wants to play is these guys, and it's just like, you know, is Perks, is Luke, is Sam and Simon, Greedo, is fucking Jar Jar Binks. I don't know what the fuck you want to play Jar Jar Binks. They hear me list.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually no. I let
back in the book had these guys, and they're just templates for characters, and you got a ton of them.
Rookie, it's like that's Chewbacca right there. Like no, just there's Wookiees, Chewbacca, and something like that. And
you got Smuggler,
Smuggler, right? That big one. That's mission you need to do. So, but yeah, so the Ted was playing. Kelly was playing Big Starklighter, and there's Colonel Catan, and all the wheels. One of the thing, and I'm not calling him Canopy because that was the name of his faction. That he was like a rebel-aligned spy faction called Canopy. And he had several player. He was a patron, basically. He had several player characters that he would use to interface with the game. But that was free word meeting in a cantina. There happened to be where HK-47 was running towards with two Imperials hot in pursuit. And I ended up in this situation where I'm like, okay, this is what I talked about before. You have multiple parties aligning, colliding into one another, and I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do this. I went to do a big session about it, and I kind of had to fuck it around a bit, but so I think the idea at the time was, and I've got my notes, and then again, like, my notes are shit, but I'm trying my best here. And I did have my receipts on Twitter as well. So you can, if people want to steal this, feel free to, because I don't know, all I've got is my very freehand notes here. But, so we ended up with, so like I said, HK was I think his idea was he was going to draw the Imperial players into a trap. And he knew that the other rebel players were meeting up in his cantina to, I think, I can't even remember what they were doing. It was something about intelligence where they were trying to gain information on the local rebel cells. So he comes in and he says, hey, I'm drawing these Imperials into a trap. You stupid meatbags, come and help me. And
meatbags,
and like, we get another pitch. Literally, even English straight at a time. You don't bigs like your date. You can sit, you can stand there, and they'll come in and try to attack you. And then I've manned the entire town. He had previously done that a few days ago. He had done and would basically mined to treat the areas of town, so that when the Imperials came in, everything would explode and they'd all die. It did kill after them, but not only they did kill who have the two Imperial codes. And this is the thing, I didn't plan this, but it ended up being this incredibly cinematic moment without me having to do anything. I didn't write a script. It wasn't some critical or contrived bullshit. It was just, it all happened. All these people converge in this one area. And you have, and because the thing is, the only reason that was for me to go a little bit fun of that. So the planet flaming pigs contacted Droid and was like, look, what's going on? Where are you doing this? Why with the Imperials? And he didn't tell him that he was a rebel, right? He didn't tell him she was a rebel. So that Hulk suspected. So he did a certain way that to be fair, I love you, dude. Go to fight pigs. But you did the stupidest fucking thing you could possibly do, which is go on a fucking Imperial and covered in military transmission, hack into that, and talk to a Imperial officer, which was he was a flight officer. He just graduated from the academy as a flight officer. And he kind of hinted that that he was a rebel. Same with him. Man, Lindquist on egg, he was like, they burned on the and then the rebels, I hate them, and then I came from him. He was just playing, he was an absolutely wonderfully playing an evil Luke. He was doing so well. And the awesome. So wonderful. He did a great job. Like, there was a little seeing a conversation between these two characters. It was really great. But in the process of that, Luke basically traces the transmission and goes, and he got us to Darth Vader, and he's like, hey, Vader, he looks right now, I can go and kill him right now. And maybe, yeah, sure, good. And then he got us, gets involved in the chase with, there was really just Clarkson chasing HK, and he had a lats, like the most McConnell's, but there's that, because even though it wasn't me profitable, I did add some other stuff from some homebrew stuff just because I had to, because it just depended on style it's creative. I don't have to own Brit a little bit, or at least have it over Weefull's Rails, just so I could have conflict things like lats, trade transports, things like that, because I was planning on rule gaming stuff. It's at one point, so he was chasing HK and all that, and then Luke comes in, he's like, hey, yes, he chased this droid, and he's coming off in the direction of that time. Let's team up and go. Now, I'm sorry, the story is getting very kind of limited. There, a little stuff had them in a very short amount of time. I'm checking my notes on here. So everyone things up in this town, things explode, lots of destruction. So there's a confrontation. Luke confronts Biggs. Like, you traitor to the Empire, I'm gonna kill you and send your head to Vader. And what he was like, they were going at each other, and then the guy fraying Biggs was like, I could have fucking off. And the guy fraying the spy character was like, okay, I've got like tunnels underneath the surface, and I'm just gonna go into the tunnel. He got the numbers or anything. So that character does hard in the tunnel. Biggs and Kalkatar. No, Kalkatar's sleeping, so he missed the goat. Clarifying Kalkatar's supposed to do him a session, but it was like his character's asleep or something. I think he would just like to channel or anything. It's just how they shook out. But he basically missed the home bedtime. So basically, so Clarkson goes to the Imperial Gentry. I think I might have been Drax at that point. It might have been Drax. If you didn't hear, tell me if it was Drax. Basically, so he asked Drax and goes, I want you to do that. Could you do that, sir, please, like, my position with the turbo laser? And so he like, so there's he shoots the turbo man. He's like, Jamie Cross and Killigan, but we're in the heart of town, and everyone apart from Luke Skywalker, some really amazing. He got a really amazing role. So he was just trying to be disfigured. Everyone else rallied. Like, that was the road path. It was like, one of those private characters dead. That's found out my 20 or so people at the time dead.
Wow.
Down. Have run them in characters. King done. And that was like, I fucked up so bad by letting that happen, haven't I? I shouldn't have let that happen. That was bad.
So you felt like that was a loss, that you had messed it up.
Yeah, I did.
How did the players
everyone
feel?
else was, they thought it was awesome. They were, oh, so cool. That's so sick. I can't believe, well, obviously, Drax just got to blood up the rebels, and the guy playing cops was like, could I get some of the new character? And at first, he was like, okay, so what if they like skip the remaining bits of Jamie Clarkson and they shove it in like a run-buck body, and he's a dark truther? I'm like, okay, now I've got a better idea. So there's this character from the Clone Wars, a Game Republic commander.
A long time ago, yeah.
Main character, yes, the main character in that game, he's called Boss, or RC1138, and so also in the game, the original Star Wars Battlefront, not the EA one, or Starcraft 1 and 2, they had the lore of the Mark Zero Dark Troopers, where they basically took a bunch of clones, chopped off all their limbs and as much of them as possible, and replaced it with robot parts. I thought, okay, so you do a version of Boss, but it's right, been turned into a Dark Trooper, right? And you can have like the New Republic Commander squad by Dark Troopers, and he was like, yeah, of course we have that. And he did a few subterfuge things. There's a bit of a level after that, I want to say. I don't, but that was repetitive. So the entire, it was it? No, it was Shaddar's Bluff. It was Shaddar's Bluff. They got blown up, and the rebels that stoked a bit of sentiment from that. I think there was this sense that, you know, I'm not the Imperials to just roll stuff at any time. So what the fuck can we do? So that was something where I was very close to saying something like, I don't know, well, you know, some bullshit happened and now the Imperials can't use their turbo lasers. Because I do think, even though it was awesome, if it happened like another time, people would be like, that's bullshit, and I can't do anything properly because Imperials just blow me up. Felt that.
But I mean,
That
that's how it is in that
literally,
world, though, right? Like the rebels are this
literally
ragtag group of always
the
on the
rebels
run.
had a plan. The rebels had a plan. So what they ended up doing was the guy famous by Canapé, Sirius DN. I can't believe I've drew a blank on his name. Don't know. To Sirius DN, he was saying Canapé, and he had this plan of hulking the King, let me go back. Because okay, I actually
While you're
okay,
recalling it, I do want to call out this comment
yeah,
Jacob Huck wrote. It was
yeah,
awesome. The best part of Braunstein is how stuff like
oh
this
yeah,
that
yeah,
could happen. Sometimes wildly
yeah,
unbalanced things happen that would
yeah,
never happen in a standard RPG.
yeah. So man, it was so good. Okay, so it's Bella phone out for a while for the fish. But I can't remember if it was him or someone else. But someone hacked the Star Destroyers. They fucked around with the lasers and they couldn't use them anymore. Basically, they were that to shit, and they would have to spend like 2 or 3 days recovering it and reinstall it. They had to reinstall Space for Mix. Unfortunately, I hadn't, but that she
Give them the blue
insisted
screen of
on
death on the turbo
you know,
lasers.
it did.
So
They
was
basically
that kind of the end of StarStein 1 after that huge event?
no,
You're
no,
like,
no,
okay,
no.
this
That I
was
don't think would live. Well, that was the first. That was over within the first like 2 or 3 days. I want to
oh
say
my
that was in the
gosh.
first week. When you get down to it, that scene was very short. And I had meant to have it longer, but then and there was a bunch of stuff happened. I'm glad to tell you about how StarStein one ended. So let it try out. And I call him Scott. He's basis his personality. And Scott Steiner from WCW, and I don't know if you watch wrestling, but
I do
yeah.
not, but I know a lot of people who do, and they try to keep me up to
So
date.
So Scott Stein had this idea. He got his character blown up, and I thought it really pissed him off because he really liked the idea of being HK-47. He really liked it. He was like, yeah, plans upon plans. He was going to do all this sabotage that he just failed, slapped in the face, can't do anymore.
Yeah.
So he starts a new character and puts all of his stuff into like sabotage and technology and just all the things you can use to make the Imperial's day go really wrong. And I think there was a point where we had a bit of a lull where a bunch of rebels again, my little brother came in and I had him play Tarkin. I didn't have him play Tarkin. He asked to be Tarkin and I thought, okay, he's Tarkin. I'll give him best stuff. Just because I think that's a shake-up then. So now players have to worry about the Death Star and try and block the Death Star. And that could be an objective for them to block the Death Star and try their best to do it. And so my damn little brother does. He gets in the Death Star and he blows up one of the planets, not the main planet, but it was like one of the moons or something like that. And I had a name for it. Irrelevant. I posted this on Twitter and he was it filling code. He made a full statement about it, right? And posted it in Discord and said, no, rebels beware, we're up his planet, you better start hating yourself, basically.
And blew up a
And I think
planet.
that sort of,
That's awesome.
yeah, and I think, I'm not sure, but I think that sort of cows some of the rebels, cows some of the rebels in submission. They're like, oh shit, what do we do now? But Scott Sava, empty. He didn't say he was going red, but he kind of just went, I'm just not going to tell you what I'm doing. The thing about it was sort of really good at telling each other what they were doing and coordinating and doing that. And they were really, they did that. I was like, great prize. They were so good at being that ragtag rebel fleet and having to sabotage things. And they do it, make things really hard for the Imperials in a lot of ways. But I think the guy playing Darth Vader, Polyphemus, he got, I'm not sure if he was in character or not. I don't know if he got like genuinely annoyed or it was just Vader being annoyed that there was some annoyance of some description there in how he in because the rebels were just so good at sabotaging and they were really smart about it. But Skull's trying to fuck all of you, and he has a plan. That is one of the plan. Whereas Subby tells me he was going to like basically brutally trap as much of the jungle as he could. It was a big jungle planet, so he trap much of it as could and get rid of as many Imperial troops as he possibly could without any skirmishes going on. And he did a pretty decent job at that. That at a point when you have like the Death Star hovering above and it's got like hundreds of stormtroopers, I did unpull up this, but intentionally gave the Imperials like too many troops. So could it be a case of like, oh, like the rebels and the Imperials have a fight and the rebels win because they have equal amounts of men on them, so it to be the asymmetric sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that was sort of my idea of giving Tarkin a Death Star and illustrious. It's got, okay, now they basically have unlimited troops. It wasn't unlimited, but it would instinctually it was a lot of troops. Like,
Yeah.
I want them said, starting with as this, and he actually said big escape. But then this is the skinning that runs StarStein 1, and I'm going to tell you that this now and this fucking guy. So this may seem tangible, it's not. So let's go say back in the day, I met him playing EVE Online.
Okay.
That's what made me find out we lived relatively close by to each other. I mean, became friends based on that. And he's very much in that EVE Online mode of, everyone plays a fucking scary sometimes. Like, when we're in a damn internet spaceship fight, there'll be something really strange, like, oh, yes.
I don't know if you've read this, but the whole first chapter is about
cool.
EVE Online.
Yeah.
And just how noobs get just absolutely scammed.
You don't even know. These are the guys. Clipping the Scout, he was once a big part of Code Swarm, one of the big corporations. He used to do in EVE Online was to win one of their stupid internet spaceship fights. There's a story that these guys, they went runs, they found out where someone lived, and then they found out where like the power substation was through his entire like suburban area, and they found a way to cut the power to his own area so his computer would turn off. Right?
So they're like real world hacking each other and taking out power grids so they can win EVE Online.
Yeah.
That is so messed up.
That's it for the tangent. I need to tell you that. So explain that the band of StarStein has someone who would do something like that. And it was never confirmed to me that he was the one behind that. I suspect he was. Or at least he was partly responsible.
It's in the realm of possibility.
Yeah, it's in the realm of possibility. But the different show legally, I cannot, if I were to find out, I would not legally be able to say, because that might actually be considered a genuine crime. But it's rough. But this is
you guys thought Braunsteins were bad. EVE Online is actually walking the line for crimes.
Yeah, there's an sound. He sounded. He does. So my wife is playing Palpatine, right? And Palpatine is the one is the overall leader. He's giving orders to the 3 different Imperial leaders, which were Braun, Tarkin, and Vader, and they had their own objectives and were sort of competing with each other. So Scott, because he's a personal friend of both me and my wife, he fiddled out. It's could say it was half funny, half kind of scary, but he figured out the password for my guy's Discord account. He gets it, and he said the Imperials fence service as her, and I didn't know this until a little bit after he did it.
Oh my gosh! And
he knows he can concoct this plan where he tells the Imperials, 3 of the Imperials, separately, and there was there's these 3 parts of the cannon, right? And this is your final objective, and if you do this, you win the game, right? And if you give them a view, and he told for each both of them separately without telling the other people that he can't give the base, he's trying to play them off against each other, right? So he tells them, whoever gets all 3 pieces of this cannon, right, and gives it to me, will win the game completely for the Imperials, and it'll be a personal victory for that player as well. So,
wow.
So he's like, at first, and I found out about this because I'm eating dinner with my wife and I'm checking my spine. I'm like, oh, wow, darling, you gave them levels up. I didn't tell you to do that, but okay, that's a great idea. It seems like an interesting game mechanic for them to do. She goes, well, I didn't know there's not a shallow, the Discord channel that she did it. And I'm like, that's you, kind of. And she's like, no, I didn't do that. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Then now, this is the cybernetic now. I'm talking about, again, that's from StarStein. We're going to Twitter off right now. And he goes, okay. He explains to me what he's done. So, I have created these fellas out of that with my technical skills. These fellas don't can author, so these fellas can parts, and they're basically disguised bombs, right?
Mm.
And my plan is, I've got two plans. So the first time is someone's greedy and gets all three parts. I then blow them up. Or he then blows them up. He then blows them up, and that play's dead. So that's that Vader or Fern or Tarkin and the Death Star gone, right? And it's all right. And I have to summon a dead man switch. And it just exploded. The Bens would just explode wherever they are and kill whenever's around, right? And the red mod objective. And so I thought, okay. Previously, I was thinking about this. I was thinking about how I could work this idea that Scott did in the game. I thought, okay, so I've had a thing where the Rebel Pilo's objective is to destroy the cannon pieces, because that way it looks legitimate and fair, I guess.
Yeah.
It was again, it was one of those arbitrary bullshit things that I like, but it was just this backstage based on what happened.
How did your wife react to her pretty much
laughing.
having
she
her?
Thought it was funny.
She thought it was funny. Okay, all right.
But which was funny.
I
Like,
can
at the
see
end of
some
the day,
players
Scott,
like super rage quitting over a move like that, saying that's outside the bounds of the game. I'm done.
She's a wonderful woman, and she's the sort of person she can see the funny side in things, and she understood that it would be. But it's very agreed that if this plan works, this would be the funniest shit ever. Right? This would do like the ultimate
a good
thing.
woman.
Yeah. So we did that. Ended up happening. So Scott decides, okay, he starts shit talking Darth Vader. You have this like public announcements pay where you can make a public announcement and it's like in character and people ever will see it. And so he starts saying, and I'm going to get it up. I might even do a screenshot. That show's decent for Twitter, but I'm going to tell you, I'll describe to you. Maybe there's some game of charades. We can describe what happened here. So he starts saying shit like, oh God, let me skip a fucking hell. So he said was incredible. He says here, this is, and I quote, the information, this is what Scott's trying to say, information has been leaked to me by a source close to Darth Vader. The source says, Vader is a little bitch who likes young boy toys. Shut the info, folks. He did it as like an everyone thing.
Oh my gosh.
It's failed off. It is like, each Majesty gave his armies to the other two players, the other two leaders, and said he put in the later key to start to train as a Sith, and there was another guy who was playing like a Sith version of Sam Hyde. I was like, right, there are no children who found Scott's Steiner, and he didn't know everything that was going on. He didn't know about the dead men, so anything like that. And so, and then basically, he sends the request to Dilly. Chases after him. I think he found it the first time. So he found Luke the first time, but the second time Luke basically just sneaks up on him and fucking just gets him. It was very quick. It wasn't a session. It was literally like, this is my move for today. I've placed location. I will look behind him and snap his neck. I said, okay, man, Miss Stealth. And then for Stein, I was like, I ran my search, which is basically spot hidden kind of deal.
Yeah.
And Scott Steiner failed. Luke walked up behind him and snapped his neck.
And that's that.
And that was it. That was Scott Steiner dead.
How did the player take that?
It's what I discussed. Close, very much in that Eve mindset. And the thing about Eve mindset, I felt that again, it's all fair game. So everything's okay or nothing's okay.
Yeah,
that was sort of the mindset.
You can't be mad if you hack someone else's password to try and set up your machinations, and someone else just gets a lucky roll. It's like, sorry.
He's a very tricky kind of guy, but he's very sort of competitive and sportsman-like in that sort of weird sociopathic way. So the headmistress then maybe just start shit talking him in DMs, and he showed me some of them DMs, and he was like, I think it's like, I had to do it. I'm sorry. I think the plan might have actually been apologetic that he killed Scott Steiner, but Scott stuff, it just starts doing loads of gifts of that maniacal laughing. and he has a dead man's recruiting switch thing, and you're like, if you sue this, I'm dead, but let me get over here, she said, because I'm misremembering it. I was the first of all, if he died, this is the thing that made me sanction Luke going after him more than anything. He fucking goes in the public announcement, Scott Sanders, and he basically yaps me and says that how to make Shawn Michaels look straight. Now, you don't know who Shawn Michaels is. He's one of the gamest fucking wrestlers ever lived. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but he was questioning my sexuality, and I was not a guy about a crab person, man, and he was just shit talking me. Just saying, no, fact, I'm not sure Michaels, maybe as low as Shawn Michaels. At the basically time.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know who Shawn Michaels is, but like that if that was an insult levied at me, that would just okay.
Yeah. If I was a wrestling fan would be like, oh, shit, told you, fuck you. Right. So then as literally then does the bedmans sing, like, where does he go? He's get out of poker. If you're listening to this, Senase just killed me. That's okay. I got in front of get for the Empire before I go. And then I have to make the announcement. Multiple large explosions. Those in multiple of the cities were completely blown up. Smithereens. It was a large explosion. I imagine this basically like almost like a thermonuclear detonation.
Wow.
Like just.
Now, had people collected those bombs together, or were they in 3 separate locations when they detonated?
The fellow who was trying through them was really on the ball, and he was trying to collect more. I think he collected one and was in the process of transporting it. And so, if memory serves, I don't think according to him, it wasn't in the spaceship. It was in status trip before it was collected. It was still in the ground, basically, so it exploded on the ground. And then I said, call it. That's when I called the game. I'm like to go on the back. They said to go, no, it's got stuff in the bridge. You just look up everyone.
Yeah, everything blows up, and we're like, all right,
everything blows up.
That's the game for right now.
I can't do it anymore. He hacked my account. He met my account. My girlfriend's, my right account. I had to go through the fellas to get to the right one. He had to. I'm thinking, I'm like, how do I continue off the fact that now the man had to go, okay, pull us the game now. We're going to do StarStein 2. It gives me some time to sort of process things, get things. And basically what we're going to do StarStein 2 is we're going to have a whole traveler style subsector, right? So it's multiple planets. There'll be spaceship travel, there'll be spaceship combat, hopefully, but it's still going to be more inside the Ganbusters mold of weekly orders, that kind of thing. Lots of stuff happened with StarStein. I'm glossing over. I'm just going over there, the pertinent bits, and anyone else is free to tell anyone else about what they did. Right. But the StarStein 2 will be within the canon of StarStein 1. So if you were to keep your secret and do so. But let's have the case of a lot of players actually swapping over. So as we have some rebel players becoming Imperials and vice versa. So that'll be interesting to see.
Now, that was one of the things I kept thinking of as I heard you talking about it was in the context of some of the discussions that have been going around about alignment in D&D, like, man, is the alignment sharp in StarStein? You are either a rebel, or you are an Imperial, or you are a traitor. Those are your 3 options.
Oh yeah. I'm very fascinated in the alignment about, because a lot of people don't like. I was fascinated with this idea that they have like lawful evil creatures, like inherently lawful evil races and inherently chaotic evil races, right? And no matter how bad a human gets, a human is inherently lawful good. That doesn't mean that a human can't be evil as an individual, but the society is built around morals and ethics, right? As we know them. The morals and ethics of the lawful evil society, like, what would them knows and others like chaotic evil society look like. That's something I find interesting. I
Daddy
hate
Warpig
the
on Geek Gab
yeah,
recently had an epic rant
yes,
on this where he was talking
yeah.
about like if you give birth to live young who are born vulnerable, chances
Oh,
are
you're the
you're going to
baby
be at least
argument.
neutral, right? Um, the
Mm,
orcs that are like Warhammer 40k orcs that just spring
yeah,
forth from a fungus,
yeah,
they do not need to
yeah.
organize their society to protect their young,
No,
so
no,
they
no.
can be completely alien, they can be
Mm,
completely evil,
mm.
right?
Yeah, yeah, basically, yeah. It's like, let's if that's what I say. I guess that the looks for a collector when one of the one things I would say they are truly chaotic neutral, right?
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, maybe chaotic nature was alignment is just an excuse of being pretty fucking bastards, and they can do good things and they can do evil things. With we've had chaotic neutral, I'm so random, but it looks like actually from real chaotic neutral as it should be,
Yeah,
in that, but not doing any fruit for any reason other than whatever's directly in front of them. Like they want loot, uh, they just
yeah.
want to have a fight. It's just simple. Like to be chaotic neutral is to be an orc, right? From 40k. Like that is probably one of the most things to be
Yeah.
chaotic neutral over. It's not to be like Deadpool from Marvel or like the weird main version of Deadpool that's arisen thanks to numerous stuff going all the way back to the mid 2000s where
Yeah.
they've turned Deadpool into a fucking idiot wanker for no fucking reason. Um, but it's like, and then those relate back to things like, like fish milks and Done by the Masquerade, where you have the also random arcadians. It is insane. So he
Mhm.
can do crazy things. It's like, I'm like, okay, cool. Send him in. What are you diagnosed as then? Is it autism?
Right.
Yeah.
So how long did it go from like the first
I'm
time
going
you
to
had
say
it?
like 2 weeks,
2 weeks.
2 weeks,
And that
not
was
long.
2 weeks
But
that sounds like you when it was over, you were probably relieved that you got some time back, yeah?
I rest so tough. Like on the one hand, I had plans and I wanted it to go on longer. Right? What the plan was, I was going to have it be like it'd be some kind of final victory between the Imperials and Rebels, and then I could turn
Mhm.
around and expand scope to like a star system or something like that. Um, and everyone else be able to get in what they needed to do. We had a player come in, friend Folio, he was going to do the Tucker Calrissian show,
Yeah,
which I was excited. I would say if I was like, oh, man, he's going to interview all the players, and that'll be a really good way to get them to like get some information out there and build some
heck yeah.
awareness. And it's another thing because I credit all my players talking on Twitter and making propaganda and stuff like that with getting more people involved because I got a
Yeah.
lot of people. Well, so it's about like these Star Wars memes about like Zitten mines. What point? What's going on? I want to join this. This sounds cool. And Alan, again, like,
Nobody memes like the Bro SR. I'm sorry. Like
yeah,
those
it's great.
games when
It's
they
great.
start spilling out onto Twitter,
Yeah.
it is just amazing.
The the closest I could see it was like when we would have those big gigantic wars and even online, and they would be fair, there was it was somewhat similar in that you'd have people go on
Mhm.
and it wouldn't have been Twitter, it would have been the something awful forums or Facebook or something like that. Back in the day.
Back in the
Um
day.
you know, but it was a sign I do of, it wasn't just a sudden pro, my team's better than your team. Fuck here. It was like genuinely like causing excruciatingly nasty stuff that you wouldn't want to say to anyone in real life. But it was
Sounds
it
like
was
talking to the
also so
OSR.
clever. It was also so clever and unique and vibrant and artistic and
Yeah.
right and interesting. And I just go, whoa, these guys sound cool. What am I going to be with these guys? They felt like that with this stuff, and people got some into it, and I loved that. And I
Yeah.
loved that. I think it's the sign of a good game when people are into it. Like they're not just clocking in and giving you orders. I had been something on Twitter talking about how that thing someone so did was bullshit and, fuck
Yeah.
you. And there's
The,
arguments and the shit talking. It's great. It's amazing. I bet.
the goal is to have your
Yeah.
players engaged to the point where they're
Yeah.
thinking about it even when they're not playing.
Yeah.
And I feel like Braunstein just
Good. Mm.
I'm sorry, a Braunstein. Let me be specific in my language. The thing which we refer to nowadays as a Braunstein It just
Dude,
seems like it's on easy mode for getting your players engaged, getting them thinking
yeah,
about it between sessions, and getting them trash talking each other online about it. It just works. It's magic.
dude, absolutely. It then it goes this thing like, no doubt me as a GM coming up with some amazing, the convoluted plot that I
Hmm.
attract players through, spell with plays to. And I was playing even when I came up with this theory. Most MMOs, if you enter to like rent play, you kind of had to do it in a kind of awkward way where you pretended to be the character and you
Yeah.
had to kind of play the game in a suboptimal way in order to immerse yourself. With Viva Melly, no matter what you were doing, you were about playing. You were
Yeah.
in this universe. You had your goals. You had your grudges. You had everything going on. And Braunstein is another representation. You don't need to be like this super in character, amazing improv raptor.
Hmm.
You just need to understand, here's my character, here's their goals. I'm going to play the game just by playing the game normally. You're advancing those goals, advancing, for lack of a better term, the narrative, or is your personal narrative, which comes after play,
Yeah.
right? Which comes after play, because you can't play a story and you can't tell a game.
That's right.
Which is
That's right.
something I picked up from the Bro Summer. That's
Can't
personally I saw them talk about.
can't play story, can't tell a game.
Mm.
Did you ever feel
And,
like a
mm,
bottleneck at any point, that there was so much going on that had to go through you?
yeah,
Or was
yeah.
it like other examples where like the game just went on without you and you had to catch up?
Um, if I'd say there was a bottleneck, the game was sort of going, like, I like that. Basically happened was the dad I figured out I should do the gangbusters thing was some man yeah, there's a guy playing Darth Vader polythems. He said, don't be so rigid with the one-to-one time.
Hmm.
And I thought, okay, but I tend to not be as rigid, but I don't know. And so I look at the Gunbusters. If I looked at, I actually went back some of the tweets and stuff from the Gunbusters game he did, and
Yeah.
I read Gribber for Gunbusters. Okay, right, I get it now. I can do this more like Gunbusters. When I was doing that, I was still getting people telling me, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do so and so. And I'd be like, okay, cool, if I have this, roll that, do this, be like, and I got through about 20 people out of 20. It was 26 at the time. Yeah, actually, it was, I remember, I know because I know it's saying 26 fucking people kill me right now. I've written down my notes. That I got through 20 out of 26 people. I'm like, oh God, these are great. These are great players, and I love them all, and they're doing such a good job. But I'm so fucking overwhelmed. How there
Yeah.
must be a better way of doing this. And then, okay, actually, no, if they have this setting with a gunmaster start, they give me their order for the day, and they can do it any time of the day when they have time. Just pop them their order, and I'll resolve it the next day. And then these events will happen. They give me the next day's orders. That day event will happen, and eventually when work up to the weekly orders, you give me the week's orders, and we'll go from just writing gangbusters where you go through them, and because
Yeah.
I realize, and now the more I think about it, the matter is that could have been the missing link. For Cthulhustein is doing it like gangbusters, perhaps. I'm not sure. I tried it out. I might try it and just as an experiment and see if it works. But do know gangbusters started. Here's the investigators faction. Here's the cultist faction. Here's the guards who are above,
Yeah.
and they all give me the orders and do it that way. I actually have like I don't know how many, at least 4 different Braunsteins I want to do after I finish StarStein
4.
2.
Okay.
I thought, oh God, I'm going to tell you then. So the first one, the thing I really want to do, because I think it'd be so fun, is a wrestling Braunstein.
Okay.
So
Oh man, I know a
the
couple
idea
guys who'd
has,
already be interested
I
in
am
that.
getting that. So the idea of that is there's a game called Marvel Superheroes. 2SR made it.
Mhm.
Wonderful game. I remember one of my favorites. And it was, and this is going to be a there was a dirty, awful, evil retro clone that actually, and I don't like saying this, but it actually fixed an issue of that original game, whereby so the problem, I don't actually tell you Marvel Superheroes, but the big problem with that game is the odd made dilemma. The idea is you have this universal chart right now. Who was all like you have the universal chart, and you run on the chart based on whatever your stat is, and you run on a column, and that's your role, right? Is there is a small chance, but a chance nonetheless that other now could just facilitate Galactus somehow. Like it very, very slim chance, but it could happen. It could really happen. Like if you read that enough and never say never, never say you'll not get that critical failure, you'll not forget that critical, says it could happen. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure now in 7 months through a year plus campaign, it probably did, and they have no receipt. So basically it didn't happen at all. If the tree falls down and no one's there to hear it, what's the fucking point?
That's right.
But yeah, so there's this lecture called Heroic, and when I did understand that dilemma, it had what's called the versus system, where you take limb person's stat in something, you take the other person's stat in something, and if they were doing an opposed challenge, do either add up or subtract the difference, and then that's what is rolled on for the test, right?
All right.
So let's
Quick and easy.
from the wrestling. Yeah, so from a wrestling standpoint, you've now got a thing where if someone's really good at, say, grappling, and those persons say fairly good but not so good at edging, let's say you got them wrestler does, I'm going to put some guy in a grapple, and the other guy does, I'm going to does the grapple. You then look at what the relevant stats is between you, subtract or add the difference, and then you tell the probability, probably gone dodging, like, okay, so that this, even a minimum, this column, better that dice, and whatever the result is. If you get like I think it's like red, yellow, or green result, then you pass. If you get a white result, then you fail. So I think basically I'm going to write down a bit more and get more in depth into something I'm coming up with as we're speaking right now. I'm going but yeah, like using those rules to make a wrestling gun. So we have the real players be like wrestlers, and then we have the patron who do the general manager of the wrestling promotion, and we have different promotions basically. So we have like general manager of just for times, we have one guy with WWE, and he has like 4 and 5 players, and they can play multiple wrestlers, right? You have like your wrestling thing, and the anyone you want, like you have on Kobe and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I'm already picturing the memes and the promos and like
and then so you have, and then you have the competition between individual players in one promotion, right?
Yeah.
Then you have the formalities and sounds, or the general managers pin against each other, right? So the general manager is, okay, I'm going to brook the WWE, I'm going to brook Stone Cold and I don't know, Shawn Michaels in one match against each other, and then the WCW guy, he gets wind of this. Maybe we have some intrigue going on. I have some real things. I'm basically going to have to make a game up from scratch to do this, but I could do it. And I picture it in my head. It's so clear, and it sounds like the most awesome thing in the world in my head. It could probably turn out to be a massive disaster, but I want to try this.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, look, basically, in which promotions running against each other? The promotions, the patrons, players are the wrestlers. Miss go off against you, and at the end of the week, I'll come up as the ref, and I'll go, okay, this match got out so and so many stars. This match got so and so stars.
Yeah.
That has the most stars. The end of the. Some other thing went from the personal perspective, you have a leaderboard, and if whoever has the most stars as a wrestler is at the top of the leaderboard, and whoever has the most stars as a promoter, they win that week. And then
Bob Stevens, B-Dubs, are you guys watching?
And then we had it like, I'm literally making this up as I go along right now. Like this is literally just something I've had a vague idea and I'm fleshing out.
Brainstorming it live. So that's one of the 4. What are the other 3 that you're thinking?
Okay, so the second now is the Star Trek, Faza Star Trek. One part I was going to use the lure of Faza, but Traveler, because I love Traveler so much. It's like a parasite. I can't remove it. Okay, I need it. I need it to live. Okay, yeah. It's a good out of sight, the one that turns you into like Venom, and you can be cool and edgy and stuff, not like a bad parasite that kills you. The most it's
like a babblefish in your ear translating.
Yeah. So like so the idea I had was we use Traveler, but we have like a subsector, and we have like the patrons will be captains. Right, various starships. But I'm going to make it so we have like a Federation captain, and he gets to be like the kind of thing. And he never reviewed that, and it done like he can literally be Captain Kirk, right?
Okay.
Well, but if I could set it in the Faza Star Trek, to be it's going to done in that sort of Wrath of Khan sort of era,
Right on.
right? So we have like a Federation captain of some description, and we have a Romanian captain, we have a Klingon captain, they're all exploring, and then obviously your officer would be the players, right? And then they're all exploring this sector, and then we have them roll. It'd be almost like doing wilderness exploration from D&D, but in space, right? So they'd explore each day. They explore a single X, and we roll to see what's on the X, and if there's a situation that arises from that, and as the captain deal with it, how what do they do to resolve the situation? That would in an episode of Star Trek, right? And then so we have like a Klingon player, and an Environment player, and then the Federation player. Maybe they meet and they go, "Fuck you, they're those." They work together.
Altered games rights. Traveler's just a really complete game system. Running one with a million credit squadron is how you Braunstein it, really. And also, if you wanted PCs to start as faction leaders instead of building up to it, that is.
Man, so I just want Traveler's Steins don't with me a lot of ways, because everything's there. Patrons, it's there. Like, yeah, sure, in Traveler, the idea of patrons is that you control them as the GM, but the actual or the mechanics you did for a patron is there. Instead of you as the GM playing, just give it to a player, right? Yeah. And they give you the patrons and give you missions and give you money, and the players will. What ended up happening with the players were fighting out of the different patrons in my game. Go have to play one of this patron. They say, "Oh, I could have you, but I'm at that other guy. I might go for him instead." And the other players, it didn't sound human, or they were fighting over the patron. It was great. Anyway.
All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can keep your secrets if you don't want to share them with me, but I'm writing them down because so far it sounds awesome.
So that's going to be Stardate, right?
Okay.
And Stardate, I'm again with the Traveler, because any science fiction of in the Star Wars, if it's like very science fiction, not like space opera, it's going to be Traveler for me. It's just as doing is the perfect fantasy game. Traveler is the sci-fi game. It's you want science fiction, Traveler, okay? Everyone is so different. Like, you give me some bullshit like stars without numbers, I will smith you in the face with a cricket bat. I will find where you live and I will do it, okay? That game I Steve on mine player. Me coming out, I try to suppress it so much, but sometimes it just comes out.
Sometimes, the mask slips a tad, right?
But yeah, so basically, we have a Stardate one. I don't know if you've watched Stardate, but the big thing about Stardate is that the humans in Stardate are very much the underdogs. You have the player move system lords, right? With these the base like, how do you watch Stargate?
I saw the movie with James Spader way long ago.
The movie's all right. The movie's all right, but the series SQ1 is way, way better. They took that movie, which was it was a somewhat science fiction adjacent, right, shocky, but it might take make Independence Day, and it's very similar to that film.
Yeah, it was like the humans were pretty much at current technology level, but they were dealing with the Egyptian alien mummy people, right?
Yeah, so the idea was you have the global system lords who are basically these parasites that have taken over human bodies, and they went to Earth in the ancient times. They took over Earth in the ancient Egyptian times and appropriated all the gods and said, we're the Egyptian gods, you must worship us. And then eventually humans were bound, told them to piss off, which, depending on who he talked to, some Timothy Hatwin people say that is some form of soft disclosure, but I digress.
Like the aliens are like, how will we tell the humans? I know, let's make a science fiction channel show.
They actually made that joke in the Stardate South because it was going. I remember this doing at the time. It was getting popularity. That one was Stargate is some form of soft disclosure, and so they made fun of it in that episode of SG1 where they got to see a television series that's better than the fictionize the camps of Stargate, and they're like, what the fuck? They're just making a TV series based on us. What's going on here?
That's hilarious.
So you have to go on to a little part of they are patrons right there. But thing you're running the patron is right there. They have cool spaceships, they have sly leaves, they have bands that they control, they have dynamites, everything you need there to be a patron. And I could just so easily go, okay, you're a band, you're the Pathos, you're the this, you're the leather, just here's your domain, get on with it. And you have the SGC on Earth. There were premieres with the SGC Stargate Command operatives. Digital SG1, SG2, SG3, and depending on how many players, like I've added, each plays an individual operative. If I downgrade as many players, I'd have them run like an entire team, right? And they would be going out, kind of using similar wildernessy kind of rules. They traveler, where literally using the rules. I mean, using the traveler planet generations, but instead of doing it all at once, like you'd normally do the travel again, you do it like, as explorer, like, because I
As
think that's
needed,
nice. They're going to different worlds and they're exploring.
There
But
was a
they have
session where
similar-
Jeffro rolled up a planet as the beginning of the session. He's like, all right, here's where you're going to be.
That's
like,
the special wonderful thing about travel. You can still easily do that. But that's why it works so now for started, because they can just say, okay, so pick X. I'm going to see if there's a planet there. And then, oh, there's a star there. So you go frame, here's what you see, as you see it, right? You come through, it's a very steep planet. It's a jungle planet. It's an ice planet. It's this level of technology, and these people were in charge. But as they're going through, so I have this idea of they need to be, the players would be so much more powerful than them. It's just Earth as we know it now. It's just they have AK-47s, P90s, things like that. It's just they have to be careful. Just like in the things, they had to be careful. They couldn't just they did shit talk. The fucking, especially Jack on here, he's such a absolute dead jab. But coming like Scott's son. But there was some basically the idea was you don't want to have too much awareness. PI was you have the planet and they will like salvage the streets. Not like the game XCOM. If you'd ever played that, where they salvage technology and they salvage and they get more information and they learn more about it, they have to be careful, because if they go find out that there's this planet called Earth, and obviously from their standpoint, they know that there's a planet called Earth somewhere out there, but they're just going to come in and invade and everyone's dead, so they have to be careful. But if they play smart like the Rebel players did in StarStein, and that's where I got this idea from, to play smart and they mess up the Goldenwood Stain without revealing who it is, the Guard Hobble are going to start thinking, as well, there's certain who's been sabotaging me in, and they go to war, and then they start trying to kill each other. And you have the Flados, it's the inverse of Cthulhu. I mean, the Flados manipulate the patrons almost.
I love it. That is such a great idea.
That could be, that's whenever I really want to attempt at some point. And the fifth one was just, it's probably maybe the least interesting idea, but something that could write. It's just doing like a superhero Braunstein with Marvel superheroes. Just have patrons as supervillains, heroes, make your own Olympic one of I know even Abic, where there's a really cool fan book which has like basically stats for every fictional character imaginable, fit it in the Marvel superheroes mode. So I've had it be like set on the current canon world called Crossover Land, which is basically the world they use for a lot of their crossover comics, where it makes it sound, it's a sort of man exists alongside Batman and Spider-Man, and they all just are in this one planet, and there's aliens and predators, and but everyone you think of basically. And I do like
throw in everything in the kitchen.
Just be who you want to be as long as it's stats for them, and then Patron, you can be who you want to be, and maybe players decided they form something like the Avengers or Justice League to fight patrons. Maybe they decide to go real low and they have their own adventures. And be a bit harder, because I'll do that. The thing about superheroes is, you need a villain. So patrons either need to be directly involved in terms of, sending henchmen out and adding schemes, a bit like Cthulhu, really.
You want villain patrons, and you want those to be your active players. You don't want anyone turtling with a villain. That's a waste.
And then you have the players who are like, I'm Iron Man, I'm going to go stop Doctor Doom because he's fiddling around with the water supply or something like that. I don't know. But and to think every single one of my ideas, just like StarStein, didn't work if I had good players. They could also go to absolute shit if I had bad players, and that's the thing. It's really when we're doing the rest of them, and I really want to do the Stargate one, and I'm going to do both of those. Probably not together, probably separately or even concurrently. In succession, that's the word I'm looking for. So I've been talking a long time. My brain's going.
Oh, that's all right, man. Yeah, we're like almost 2 hours. I didn't ask ahead of time how long I could have you for. So thanks for sticking in.
I should be over right until about, I want to say like 10 o'clock my time. I don't know what that'd be ultimate. 10 o'clock my time is pretty much when.
Okay.
I think now, darling, I was putting my daughter to sleep right now. I do that. I think she's okay. She has promised me, and sure, but she can hold it down for today.
Okay. Well, why don't we start to wrap it? We can. There's a few questions I want to ask you about. So the players make the difference. Let's say I got contacted on Twitter by @taunting goat. And Goat has been watching the show and is really excited and wants to run their own Braunstein. And they're like, "What advice do you have for getting players?" And so I gave him some advice. I don't know if mine was good. The way that my mind works, I thought, try to get in another one, make friends with the people that are excited about this play style, and then when you announce yours, you already know you'll get at least some good players before you open it up to everybody. For you, when you think about getting good players versus getting more difficult players, how do you go about that? And how do you know who's gonna work out and who's gonna probably not?
Well, the scary thing, in my opinion, about Braunsteins is when you first start out, you don't know who's going to work out and who's not going to work out. You kind of just have to have faith that you are dealing with people who will play the game in good faith. And I basically threw that out the door when I put my gauntlet down. I specifically almost wanted bad faith people to come in.
Bring on the bad faith actors.
Because in my idealized, very egomaniacal mind, I think I'd either convince them this place aren't actually good and they shut the fuck up. They would embarrass themselves and I could make fun of them and they shut the fuck up. Unfortunately, they just shut the fuck up. In fact, they didn't even do that. They shut the fuck up to me, but then still chat to them about everything that was going on.
They said, meet me behind the school, and then you went out there and they never showed.
It's in my country, there's a time-honored tradition. Greg's both considered the battlefield of choice for many years. You said you're someone, downright shoe, meet you around the back of Greg's. What other go with it? And it's so don't tell I know. You make that of them. I know if there's a similar thing in America or Canada, but that's how it works. Like, if you will talk about trousers, you're going to get made fun of. And I make fun of the PDF markings all the time, and I will continue to do so. I will hide this. I'm a vet bed until they die. I'll be out there quality stunts, but remember, you didn't fucking turn up for my game. You shit, talking shit.
You're putting Post-its on their tombstones, didn't show.
I'll put no money, but I'll find a way to release some money and get the flight to America, wherever it is they live. Whereas Bobby Deep on the lives in some shithole third world place they fled to because of reasons that I probably can't talk about. That, I've gone wherever he's got in, and when he's died, I'll put the power stick now on. I'm not going to ask to go in real life. I'm not going to ask to go in real life, but I'll go to his glass off there and go to turn up. Benja definitely didn't turn up. This guy, he tried to shit talk me on Twitter. No, right, I'll just have a screenshot of what he told me on Twitter and post that in the note and be like, look at you now. Because I'm probably younger than a lot of these guys too, because these are guys in my 30s and 40s, and I'm almost 30. So
that's what's so funny to me about the vitriol online is you've got like 70 and 80-year-olds arguing with 40-somethings about a game meant for 12-year-olds.
I mean, it wasn't too late for Griff the Threaton to die that long, really. He doesn't look very healthy, does he? I just put the post-it on him. I tears to put that on because somehow I just some actually trying to be nice to him and just send Dave Wedsley the nice blocks, which was such a fucking out of proportion fucking thing. But I don't know, I just have that image of me just come up to him, but he does be like, Griff the Threaton, nothing else, just put that on his tombstone. That's his name to me. That's mine and always big.
So, as hilarious as this is, I do want to get back to the advice, like the takeaways.
So you can't be assured with good players, but what you can do is just make sure you're running a system that has that proof cycles play, right?
Yeah.
Like Traveller. It's part in the plot. Didn't need money. I ain't plot. No matter what. When in doubt, because that rules.
And that's why Raw is so important, is because you say, all right, nobody has to try and read the DM's mind. Nobody has to try and guess what homebrew rules we're using.
Yeah.
If it's in the book, it's legit.
Yeah.
And if you
You
learn
know
the
what I
book,
did
then
was,
you have the same voice and standing as
yeah,
everyone else in the game, DM included.
yeah, yeah. But that's thing I noticed this with StarStein compared to say something like Traveller or 1A is that a lot of the time people had to come and ask me things because it wasn't clear in the book. Whereas if Gun
Yeah.
Traveller, it's like, I got this thing, what's in the book? It's in book once free. You can do it. You don't need to ask me, and then they can just do it. And I don't even need to okay it because it's in the rules. It says you can do it. It's all
Yeah.
right there for you, as long as you can do it. And that's why I tried. I tried so hard to keep it real. Remy D6, not 2E, to the change some things I didn't like.
Yeah.
But Remy D6. And what else? It's made me disappointed in that game. I still have a fondness from it, because I used to play a lot as a kid. When I was like 15, 16, I played a lot of Star Wars D6.
Yep.
I tried playing the D20 Star Wars game, and I was like, this is a pile of shit. What the fuck happened? And I think that getting rid of men have shit 3.5 for us because it's basically. Better than 3.5. I think the idea was, you had third edition, then the Star Wars game, then they used some of that to make 3.5, if my understanding is correct. I was like, but this is shit. And it's like basically 3.5, right? Okay, odd. And then that person was like, have you tried this game, Star Wars D6? It's what I played as a kid, and I'm going to give you my rule books. And
nice.
just gave me his there's the break. At the time I thought it was fairly complete. It was like the Rebel source book, the Imperial source book, the plain old source book, the play guide.
I like the source book. The Rebel or the Imperial source book, as a kid, I never got into it because it was just so dry. It was just like a military history organization, and it didn't land for me at that age. So I don't know if I've ever really read that.
It's the biggest argument for Braunstein is from an imperial perspective, because it's like, here's how the armies work. Here's how everyone you don't need to consult anything. Just hits all right there, so you don't need to make that stuff up. It doesn't have any bloody stuff about travel times and stuff, which I know to some it's like, who the fuck cares? I get it. But it was trying to strive for that once a while.
Well, they set something out as a standard, right? Like the Millennium Falcon is one of the fastest ships. So it's like, how much faster is it than the others? I don't know. 20 parsecs.
Like when you're watching the film, it doesn't matter, right? It's a film. It doesn't, and that's failing. It shouldn't, because when you get done in my issue, you get the prequels, and you don't want that. But basically, like, from a game perspective, it doesn't need to be like the most rigid, crunchy thing ever, but just tell me, this is how this thing works. It has a logic, it has an internal consistency, even if it's not real logic. That's a placeholder. Remember, it has some consistency to it, and then I can apply that, and we can all be on the same page. And that's the
What's your advice for someone? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I'll finish this box. So, perhaps the best advice is that any game that has internal logic, is consistent, explains everything, and you don't have to consult it too much. Like, I can pretty much go to traveling guard. But then I just take book save, table times, go right. That's how that works. And I don't even need to do that as GM. If someone else can do that, it's something that's how long is it going to take for me to get from this system to this system in planetary wise? And that much time to do the equation. I'd have to do anything. That's like, you don't even have to okay with me. They can just go, as long as they tell me, as long as I'm doing this, it's the amount of time. And I'll go, that's one within the realms, go there.
Yeah.
Like, my dream Braunstein is one where this is going to sound terrible, but I'm almost done. The referee at all. I can just like be the kid with the magnifying glass looking at the artments, just like,
well, that is one of the interesting things about a Braunstein, is that it turns the DM into the audience.
Yeah.
And everybody is performing for you, and you get to enjoy it and be surprised. I just had a thought while you were talking about, like, one of the things you can do to put DMing a Braunstein on easy mode is if somebody wants to do something, especially someone who's not as familiar with the rule set, instead of you being the reference, you can say, all right, tell me what page number you are referencing for what you're trying to do. And I'll tell you whether you can do it. And put it back on them. Let them, the person with the passion and the interest, look it up. That way you don't have to use so much brain power on everybody doing that to you.
I don't know. That is a really good thing. I think I might have done that a couple of times.
Yeah.
I can't do that with StarStein because they've got I love it. I love the book. I think it's such a vibrant look in the Star Wars world. It's like having Star Wars in a box. I love it.
Yeah.
Right. It's a fucking mess. Like, it's like people say money is a mess. It's not. Like, Pleasant Money, D&D, it's not. Like, everything's there and it's all itemized. You can look at everything with what each style, just like page some has this thing, page some has this thing. It's not consistent. It's not. Like, it's a chore to read for at times because it's all lines of the place, which people choose D&D 1A of being like, but it's not one. But read the fucking book. I haven't played the game. I also haven't played the game, so I'm not an expert on it. But I've read the book.
Yeah.
I have read the book, which is one of these fucking PDF merchants can say. So I can at least say, no, the book is not like that.
Yep.
You know, with authority, with receipts. And I can literally go, page 7 has this will make sense to me. It works with, it goes in the whole bollocks about Brawl Zero in a way. Bollocks. Imagine having a car and you tell you can't stick shift, right? I don't need a stick shift. I'm just amazing at driving cars. I don't need it. And then you crash. You're like, oh my God, this car is so shit.
Yeah.
You just have the fucking stick shift, you fuck.
I couldn't get out of first gear.
It's one of these fucking things that RPGs did everything else. You understand, like, things are complete.
Yeah.
Like they are pieces of a whole. And if you take one of the pieces out, it's no longer whole. But with RPGs, it's amazing. It's like, oh no, it's okay. I can take out 3/4 of the game and then say it's broken shit because I took out 3/4 of the game and it broke.
Yeah, and it's not because they're such great game designers, they know what they're doing. It's because they're such poor players that they never read the whole thing in the first place.
I used to believe this myself, but I had this idea. So, although games masters are in themselves game designers, no. So he has a convention of play, says, fuck you, real shit.
Yeah.
Go back and read your fucking whole book. Okay? I mean it. Go out of that. Read your fucking whole book. Yeah. He gets piece of advice. Running the Braunstein, before you run it, read your own handle book, whatever else you set even a year's, whether it's the end week, that's DTM, and DTM could be another really good Braunstein. That could be sick too. That's that. Oh God, knock off. It's just not fair. No, that's sick final. That's group that's so good. Anyway, I'll be here forever.
Because you're going to get a player like me, and I'm going to try to meme something into existence.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the rules, I'll probably get away with it.
Yeah.
And then other people will get mad and eject from the game.
I will say, in a sense, I'll say, you don't have to memorize every last word.
Yeah.
But you do need to know the procedure of play, how to resolve all the tests. And if you end up in a situation where you don't know rule, that's GM. I think you're following your ways to go, hey, hang on, I'm just going to get my rule book out. I'm just going to read it right now.
Right.
And to be honest, when we do that, someone's trying to fuck me around and go, oh, so-and-so rule. Devil, you said it, I was on a page of that then. Or page, is that rule on men? Could you direct me to that? And I'm looking out of that. Okay. But again, Dale just seeing if you have bad players who are trying to fuck you around, and I'm not saying what you're doing is bad play, but like if you're trying to have players before who like typically try and like catch me out as GM, like they're trying to us little shit GM because you didn't understand this rule or that rule, and I'm like, okay, so but I didn't understand it. It's that you intentionally were looking for like a chink in the arm of the government. That's training, like I'm fairly confident that if I learn a 1A game, I'd be okay if the rules, the geometry was hard to play it, that kind of thing. That I know there would be that one or two things where someone could easily go, oh, well, you set up this rule, forgot that one. No, it's okay. That's okay. But you have the rule book in front of you. You have a game like one in try and get the exams, but you have that simple, easy world procedure of play to discover, okay, this is what we're doing. Everyone's on the same page. Okay, and if it doesn't like that, then up some episode of critical hour and not play games because what none of these people do, they don't play any
That's right.
games.
And you need
Play
what
some
Crossface Killer
fucking
refers to
games.
as book control. Like, you may not know all the
Yeah,
rules, but if you know where in the
yeah,
book it is, you can flip there quickly and
yes.
get there.
I was good. I've had like you look at my traveler book is open. It's sitting right now. There's so many post-it notes of like
Yeah.
this role at this point because it's a credit book, but it's not around memorizing all the equations and all the
Mhm.
tables and all the animal and cover all the encounter, all the drugs, computers, packers, DMs, ships, papers, standard holes, computers, launched, skid Chris, designing stuff. I can't. I'm not. Maybe some people can. Maybe some people use massive savants and they can do that. But no,
Yeah,
I
not
can
me
have the
either,
post-it
man.
notes and just go and I'll take right. So that's designing consultation. Let's so like if you went in there's the D field, okay, cool. And I just got that right in front of me right now. Because I've literally I don't know if you know, I've literally got the book right in front of me. So I can do
Right
that.
on.
And that's it.
So
So
the
I'm
time has
rambling way
come.
too much. Yes, cool.
We
So
must bid adieu. I want to give you the floor for
okay.
final thoughts, any final takeaways, any encouragement for people that might be on the
Okay.
outside looking in, wanting to do this.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Right. In the web of the metal Browning palette, share the both. Just do it. You want to do a Braunstein? Just do it. Pick it around back. Give yourself a day or two to read it. And then think, does this coil just do it? You don't even got a big plan. Just think the ones will guide you. Almost kind of think of it in many ways kind of like a Bible, where I can look at my Bible, I can read it and go, oh, that's interesting. That's something that I can use in some aspect of my life, right? And the same is true of rule books in terms of games. I can read the rule book and go, oh, I can use that mechanic in some aspects of the game. Or even just like, you don't need a rigid structure and plan. You just need a will and a way and players. You could, anyone, me, anyone can go tomato and for money, just do that any dance thing. We'll just start. It was a hex grid. I would start mapping it out. Get us some player characters. Let's get on with it. Let's do it. One
A
thing.
map,
There you go.
some players, and procedures of play.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yes.
much,
Sweetie.
Janeway, for coming on
Yeah.
This Is Dunder Moose. Thank your wife
Thank you.
and your child for me in
Oh,
whichever way that they can appreciate it. And I've really enjoyed this time together. I'm glad my audience got to hear what you had to say. And keep your
I'm
ears
saying I'm
out.
massive number, but yeah.
Keep your ears out for StarStein 2 coming up.
StarStein to come in on the 30th of September. Open sign-ups, open paid up, and I extend the same invitation I did for any left merchants watching. I mean it. I will simply give you a fair shake at the game, as long as you give me a fair shake. Come join in.
Right on. Come join the fun. Don't get a post on your tombstone.
Yeah, exactly. I will do that. No, what? I'm joking.
All right, yeah. Have a good one, guys.
Yeah,